Once upon a time, the lesson of gratitude. One day, while walking with his disciples, Buddha arrived at a small village. He decided to stay there for a few days. The news of his arrival spread quickly, and soon, the villagers gathered to seek his wisdom and solutions to their problems. Buddha listened patiently and shared his teachings. Among the villagers, one person stepped forward and said, "O Lord, we all work hard to make a living and are grateful for what we have. But there is one man in our village who does nothing and constantly blames fate for his poverty. He curses and complains all the time. If we try to reason with him, he insults us. We do not know how to help him." Buddha smiled gently and replied, "Bring him to me." The villagers hesitated. "But Lord, he is rude and might even insult you. We do not wish for you to be disrespected." Buddha reassured them, "Do not worry. Tell him that I have a solution for his problem." Reluctantly, a few villagers approached the man and relayed Buddha's message. At first, he refused, calling all monks hypocrites. But when they insisted that Buddha could solve his problem, he agreed to meet him. When he arrived, he stared at Buddha and demanded, "Tell me, why have you called me here? Do you want me to stop cursing fate? Why should I? I have nothing. Life has given me nothing. If you can solve my poverty, then fine. Otherwise, leave. I have no time for empty words." Buddha, still smiling, said, "I am not here to ask you to believe or not believe in fate. A person's happiness and sorrow are shaped by their own actions. Instead of blaming others, if you work hard, your problems may be solved." Hearing this, the man grew angry. "I don't need your lectures. I came here in hope of money, not words. If you can't help, then don't waste my time." Buddha calmly responded, "I do not have money, nor do I need any, but I know a king who might help. However, you must give him something in return." The man asked suspiciously, "What do I have to give? I own nothing." Buddha explained, "The king has a son who was born blind. His physicians believe that if they receive the eyes of a living person, they may restore the prince's sight. If you offer your eyes, the king will reward you with gold equal to your weight. You will never have to worry about money again." The man was shocked. "What nonsense! Why should I give my eyes? I will never do that, no matter how much gold is offered." Buddha said, "Then perhaps just one eye? The king will still give you a great reward." The man's anger grew. "Have you lost your mind? I will not give even one eye for any amount of gold. My eyes are priceless." Buddha nodded. "A moment ago, you called your body useless, but now you say your eyes are priceless. If your eyes, which are just a part of your body, are so valuable, then how can your whole body be worthless?" The man fell silent. Tears welled up in his eyes as he realized the truth in Buddha's words. He fell at Buddha's feet, overcome with emotion. Buddha lifted him gently and said, "My friend, life is a precious gift, yet many do not realize its value. You were cursing your own existence, but now you see its worth." People often take for granted what they have until they are asked to give it up. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we should be grateful for what we have. This story teaches us an important lesson. Many people become frustrated with life and believe they are unlucky, forgetting that simply being born as a human is a great blessing. Unlike animals, humans have the ability to choose between right and wrong, to create and to change their destiny. We should always be thankful for this life and use it wisely. The choice is yours. Will you focus on what you lack, or will you be grateful for what you have?
The power of a single verseance. Upon a time, there was a wise and powerful king. Though he had grown old, he still ruled his kingdom with strength and authority. One day, he decided to host a grand celebration in his royal court, inviting rulers from distant lands, a renowned dancer, and his most revered guru to attend the festivities. The palace was filled with music, joy, and laughter as the night unfolded in a mesmerizing display of rhythm and grace. To honor the occasion, the king handed his guru a bag filled with gold coins and said, "Whenever the dancer impresses you, reward her with these coins." As the performance continued into the early hours of the morning, the musician playing the tabla grew exhausted. His hands slowed, his eyelids drooped, and soon he began to doze off. The dancer noticed this. She knew that if the king saw the musician sleeping, he might become angry. Thinking quickly, She recited a simple yet profound couplet. The night is passing, only a little time remains. In the blink of an eye, do not bring shame. Do not waste this life in vain. Upon hearing these words, the musician jolted awake. A newfound energy surged within him, and he resumed playing with passion and intensity. But the impact of these words did not stop there. The wisdom of the verse spread like wildfire throughout the court. A moment of awakening among the guests. The young prince was deeply moved. He stood up, removed his royal crown, and placed it at the dancer's feet. "This is my offering to you," he declared. Seeing this, the princess rushed forward, removed her golden necklace, and offered it to the dancer. "This is my tribute to your wisdom," she said, with great reverence. The guru, who had spent his life in meditation and spiritual devotion, rose from his seat. He took the entire bag of gold coins and placed it before the dancer. "This belongs to you," he said, bowing his head in respect. The king's shocked king was stunned. Rising from his throne, he thundered, "What madness is this? How could a simple verse make you all give away such precious things? Have you all lost your senses?" Before he could say more, the guru stepped forward. "Your Majesty, do not be angry. This dancer's words have opened my eyes. I have spent my whole life in devotion, living in the forests, seeking the divine. And yet, today, I came to this court to watch a dance and distribute gold as a reward. But this one verse reminded me. My time is running out. Should I stain my soul at this moment by indulging in worldly distractions? No, I must return to my devotion before it's too late. That is why I gave away my gold coins." The prince then stepped forward, his voice steady and serious. "Father, you are now old, yet you refuse to leave the throne. I had planned to gather the royal guards tonight and take your life to claim my rightful place as king. But this dancer's words made me realize, why should I carry the burden of my father's blood? Today or tomorrow, you would pass the throne to me anyway. That is why I gave away my crown, for she taught me the greatest lesson of my life." The princess, tears welling in her eyes, spoke next. "Father, I was ready to run away tonight with the royal elephant trainer because you refused to arrange my marriage, even though I have come of age. I felt unloved and forgotten. But when I heard that verse, I realized why act in haste. You will arrange my marriage at the right time. Instead of making a reckless decision, I offer my necklace as a tribute to the wisdom I gained tonight." A kingdom transformeth king stood there in silence, absorbing the depth of their words. At last, he turned to his son and declared, "From this very moment, you shall be the new king." Then, turning to his daughter, he said, "Among these noble guests, choose the one who is worthy of your hand and place the garland around his neck." Finally, the king took a deep breath and sighed. "As for me, I will renounce this throne and retreat to the forest for meditation. I will spend my remaining days in devotion and peace." As this profound transformation unfolded, the dancer stood quietly, reflecting on what had just happened. One simple verse changed so many lives in an instant. But what about mine? She thought. With a firm heart, she made a decision. If so many people can transform their lives in a moment, why can't I? That night, she left behind the world of dance and dedicated the rest of her life to spiritual devotion. Moral of the story: time waits for no one. Every passing moment brings us closer to the end. Instead of wasting life on things that will not matter in the long run, use your time wisely. Make decisions that bring peace, honor, and fulfillment. Do not let impulsive actions stay in your life. Choose the right path before it's too late.
The Power of Silence, a story about finding inner peace. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your own thoughts? Even when the world around you is quiet, your mind never stops running. Thoughts about the past, worries about the future, and endless internal dialogues create a constant noise that can be exhausting. In today's world, where people are always talking, sharing, and reacting, we often forget the power of silence. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it is a state of mind, a space where we can listen to ourselves, reflect, and find true peace. Today, I want to share with you a story about a young prince who was troubled by his restless mind. Despite having everything, he felt lost. But through the power of silence, he discovered something greater than wealth and status. He found himself. The prince's search for peace. Once upon a time, in a grand kingdom, there lived a young prince. He had everything: luxury, wealth, and power. People admired him, he had servants to attend to his every need, and yet, he felt deeply unsettled. No matter how much he had, his heart was never at peace. His mind was always filled with anxious thoughts, frustration, and dissatisfaction. Despite all his riches, he could not sleep peacefully at night. He was constantly surrounded by people, yet he felt alone. He had everything, yet he felt like he had nothing. One day, he decided he could no longer live like this. He had heard of a wise monk who lived deep in the forest, far from the noise of the kingdom. People said this monk possessed great wisdom and could help those who sought the truth. The prince made up his mind he would visit the monk and seek answers. When he arrived at the monastery, he saw the monk sitting under a large tree, meditating peacefully. The sight of such serenity was something the prince had never experienced before. He approached the monk and said, "O venerable master, I come to you with a troubled heart. Despite having everything, I feel restless, unhappy, and constantly dissatisfied. My mind never stops racing. Please, help me find peace." The monk opened his eyes and looked at the prince with kindness. "The answers you seek are already within you. You do not need to search for them elsewhere. However, if you truly wish to find peace, you must follow my instructions without hesitation." The prince, desperate for relief, immediately agreed. The 21-day silence challenge. The monk proposed a simple but challenging task. For the next 21 days, you will stay in this monastery and live as an ordinary person. During this time, you must practice silence. Speak only when absolutely necessary. The prince was surprised by this request. How could silence help him? He had expected long lectures on philosophy, meditation techniques, or divine teachings. Instead, he was asked to do nothing but stay silent. Nevertheless, he was determined to follow through. On the first day, he found it almost unbearable. His mind was louder than ever, constantly forming thoughts, arguments, and questions. He wanted to speak, to ask, to express his discomfort. But he remained silent. The second day was slightly better. His thoughts still rushed in like waves, but he started noticing something different. He was becoming more aware of the world around him. He listened more intently to the sounds of nature, the rustling of leaves, the singing of birds, the distant sound of a river flowing. By the third day, he began to see things he had never noticed before. The delicate patterns on a leaf, the way the sunlight filtered through the trees, the calm movements of the monks around him. As the days passed, something unexpected happened. The chaos in his mind began to settle. The constant flood of thought slowly turned into a gentle stream. He realized that much of his restlessness had come from his habit of speaking too much, talking without thinking, reacting without understanding, and filling silence with unnecessary words. By the 15th day, he reached a state of deep calmness. One evening, as he sat under a tree, his eyes naturally closed, and he entered into meditation without even trying. His mind became still, free from distractions. He felt a deep, profound peace that he had never known before. The moment of realization. After 21 days, the prince approached the monk. His face had changed. He looked calm, composed, and radiant with a newfound clarity. The monk smiled and said, "Now, you may speak." The prince took a deep breath and said, "Master, I finally understand. Before coming here, I was always talking, wasting my energy on unnecessary words, engaging in meaningless discussions, and often thinking negatively about others. My own words and thoughts were the source of my restlessness. I was so occupied with external distractions that I never truly listened to myself. But these 21 days have changed me. For the first time in my life, I have experienced true peace." The monk nodded and said, "You have discovered a great truth. Many people in this world are restless, and they do not know why. They seek peace but do not realize that their constant talking and overthinking are the very things keeping them from it. Speaking too much drains our mental energy, scatters our focus, and leads to misunderstandings. But when we embrace silence, our words gain weight, our minds become clear, and we find peace within ourselves." The prince bowed in gratitude. He had come searching for answers, and now he realized that the answers had always been within him. He had just never stopped to listen. The wisdom of silence. Silence is a powerful tool. In a world where people constantly talk, argue, and express opinions, few take the time to listen to others, to nature, and most importantly, to themselves. Many of our problems come from speaking too much, overthinking, or reacting without reflection. Silence helps us conserve energy, observe more deeply, and act more wisely. By practicing silence, we learn patience. We become more mindful of our words and actions. We gain the ability to listen not just to others, but to our own inner voice. It may not be easy in today's fast-paced world, but setting aside even 1 or 2 hours a day for silence can make a profound difference in our lives. Imagine silence as a deep sleep for the mind, a way to reset, refresh, and refocus. If you ever feel overwhelmed, anxious, or lost, remember this story. Remember that the greatest wisdom often comes not from speaking, but from listening. And sometimes, the most profound answers can be found in the quiet moments between words.